Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will be looking into the Immortal Expertise. I'm gonna break down all of these expertise in this game, and I'm gonna be doing some recommendations and what I think about them, give you guys some idea behind my thinking, and also I'm gonna give you guys some advice and suggestions on what is better and what is not that good for the early level until the late levels. That being said, let's go further into the video. So before we go further into this video, we have to know what Immortal Expertise is. Immortal Expertise is specialization passive skill that is integrated to Immortal. Each expertise has 3 specializations for each Immortal position, and many of them, they either do increased or decreased damage dealt or the reduction. For support, they have healing, and if you manage to unlock them and increase the level, they're gonna give you a huge power boost. I think for each level, if you remove all the nodes between them, the level itself gives you 2000 STP per level, which in my opinion is a lot, and I think it's gonna be a very good grind for a lot of people, and looking forward to get even more STP in the future. How to obtain the items to upgrade the levels. Here I have shown you guys the Master Mark and Master Insight. Also I have the map of Elite campaign, and of course if you want extra Master Insight, you can pay $10 per month. You will get 180 more Master Insight each month. Also, you have 10 attempts per day if you didn't buy the Elite campaign supplies, and for $10 per month you get also extra 5 attempts to do the campaign, and maximum per day is 15 attempts. Then it means you can get pretty much or pretty good amount of the master marks and master insights for you to upgrade these levels and nodes between the levels, which in my opinion is really important. Also, just to keep in mind, you can skip some of the nodes as well, so you can increase the levels much faster. Now we have reached the first expertise that we're going to talk about, is the tank expertise. As you can see here, we have 3 expertise in this game: Iron Will, Fighting Spirit, and Fortress. And I have tested them all with Yi Shin, as you see on the screen. I'm going to show you guys in the game what my opinion about them is, because my Yi Shin is level 3 expertise with the Fearless stance, which is the first one, the Iron Will here. And so far I'm very positive about it. I did test in Arena earlier today and yesterday, and you can see that I'm still gonna lose because it's not gonna be like game changer. But what the game changer for me is that the damage reduction from 17 million to the most recent one, which is this one. Should be this one. Okay, it's the same one. Apologize for that. So yeah, I think without the expertise, I would probably drop 20 million at least. I have, Yi Shin is notoriously taking more damage than other immortals. You can see here, even though like he is not in front of any damage dealer, he still take a lot of damage than more than Charles. But this one is more common because Charles is in front of Alex, so of course he's gonna take a lot more damage. But usually, even if Yi Shin is in front of the other immortal, which is tank, he's still gonna take more damage. But with Immortal Expertise, I think he got way stronger, like in terms of taking more damage. And You can see here, usually it probably would go to like 5 million or 6 million, but now it's like 3.8. So it definitely helps out a lot for Yi Sun-shin and survivability. And in my opinion, let's see if I can show you guys in different reports where you see here, usually now they're pretty even, but usually Yi Sun-shin should be having like 5 to 6 million damage taking compared to Charles, which is only 4. So in my opinion, the Iron Will fits perfectly, and especially if you go on the skill tree here, I think that the first couple of levels, let's see on the Immortal, so we can see the skill clearly. Let's see here. I think the first couple of levels where you get 15% damage reduction is super huge compared to the likes of Fighting Spirit, where you know have different type of skill set. And of course, people have been looking into the Fortress because Fortress is very similar to what Charles and Tokugawa skill, like the ultimate skill, and the absorption rate, in my opinion, they are very low. And if you look on the numbers, that's one of the reasons why I think Iron Will is, clear the best one of among the tank expertise. However, if you look past above level 5, level 6, I think if you want to try out the Fortress, I definitely would, I'd wait until I get to level 5 and above before trying out and changing around, because imagine this one, level 4 is barely, like basically under 100%, and the skill is very similar to what we can see with Tokugawa. Tokugawa has 300%, and basically is basically level 2 of Tokugawa, right? I think most of the people here already know that the Charles skill and Tokugawa skill is very strong, but at level 1, so basically that skill is equal to Charles level 1 at level 4, at the expertise level 4. Also, same with Tokugawa, basically level 2 here. I don't think it is worth it, and even that Fortress skill is max, it will be barely level 4 for Tokugawa, 4-star skill here. I think it is not worth it. Let's take a look again. I think this one, you're gonna have more benefits from it, especially from the get-go. And once this battle starts, you already instantly getting like 15% damage reduction, and you can also get resilience. Basically, you are very tanky from the start, and I think most of the tanks will, or most of the people will use this skill for their tanks. Now let's take a look at the conclusion for the tank expertise. Here I wrote up something that I think fits very well with what a lot of people think. I believe people will say the same as me, that Iron will be the best expertise for the tank, especially until at least to level 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that is the best expertise by miles. But after like 6, 7, 8, I think Steady Barrier or Fortress, I think that can be a good skill to move to if you want some shields. Although I really don't recommend it, like especially if you are running like a one tank team. But for double tank, I think that might be something you can do, because you can have like one tank that use Iron Will, and then you have another using like Fortress to get more shield. That is possible, but I think most people will run double Iron Will as on their tanks for double tank combo like teams. And as for fighting spirit, I think it's very situational. You can use the fighting spirit on Richard, you can use it on Anubis, but that's pretty much it. That comes to my mind after been looking into the skill for a while. I don't think the other tanks will benefit anything from this. And yeah, my conclusion is Iron Will, the best one, the one that should go for in the tank, like a tank expertise. Now let's take a look at the attack expertise. Here we have 3 skills, 3 actually pretty good skill, where 2 of them can be very good, and 1 of them will be good once it reaches level 8. The first one, Top Battle, is to me very good because it increased damage dealt by 12% at level 1 and attack speed by 9% also at level 1, which in my opinion is very similar to the skill Berserker. And you know what Berserker does? Work perfectly for Alex and Hannibal. And I think with this skill, and if you stack it with Berserker, I think it's going to be really strong. You're gonna see if your Alex can single target one Immortal frontline, I think you can destroy that Immortal very quickly, probably within like 15 seconds. 10-15 seconds should be like something possible. And a lot of people will probably go for this skill. I've seen some people taking the Top Battle on the Poseidons and Wukong as well, so I'm assuming that is gonna be one of the most used. As for the Breakout, which in my opinion is my favorite, and I like it more because it fits more with what I'm going for, which is Tutankhamun. And while I think a lot of people might overlook this or don't choose this one because they don't have a very specific Immortal for this, I think it's still going to be very strong when crit rate increased by 40%. And imagine you have the Immortal like Hippolyta that will crit a lot, and you have Tutankhamun AoE Immortal Frontliner that will crit like a mage. That's going to be really strong. And for me, I'm focusing on the Breakout, but I would definitely understand people for using Top Battle because it's super good as well. And then you have Final Strike, which in my opinion is pretty good. And let's take a look in the game real quick. And you can see here that the scale increase is pretty similar to each other, especially the first 2 skills. And a lot of people will probably think attack speed is better than crit because frontliner probably don't crit that much, and they're probably right. But you can see here crit rate increased by 30%. Basically that's almost 2 times the weakness aura, and if you stack it with weakness aura, that is also 50% together. And if you stack it with Time to Shine skill, that is another 30%, which is going to be really strong for certain Immortal, especially the AoE Immortals. What comes to my mind when I look at this Final Strike, I think at level 8, 300% damage rate, I think that can be really good for some of the Immortals. And all of these 3 looks very good to me, and it's very difficult to rank one like outstanding one in my opinion, other than a lot of people are running Alex and Hannibal. Definitely this one is going to be the most popular one, and I have seen people reach this one to level 2 or level 3 already, and it's doing very well. Also, this one I haven't seen a lot of people pick this one, but that's understandable because not a lot of frontliners really fits into the crit rate category. And I haven't seen people pick this one yet, but I'm assuming, like I said earlier in this video with the tank expertise, pre-level 5, I think it's not very usable for these many of the third skills for all of the immortal trees. Oh, sorry, not immortal trees, but expertise trees, because the rate is very low in my opinion. So let's take a look at the immortal here that I picked for uncommon. I think the reason why I want to pick him here is definitely because of the crit, but I also understand like the likes of Alex why you want to do this, because this, to me, very strong, and a lot of people should be looking into this. Basically, like I said, Berserker integrated into Immortal, and if you use Berserker as well, it's going to be very good. Now let's go take a look at the conclusion I have for attack. As you can see, top battle basically made for Alex and Hannibal. I think everybody knows that by now, and I'm also thinking like this skill will be good for a lot of the frontliners that that doesn't run crit. Very few immortal is very good with crit, especially the frontliners. But majority will probably pick the first one to get extra damage and extra attack speed. That is usually very good. Breakout will be good for Tutankhamun and Hippolyta, like I said earlier as well. I think that they will benefit from this one very well. And I did test on Tutankhamun earlier, a couple days ago when it came out. I got it to level 1, and I did increase the crit value, and he was hitting some crits and he was doing a lot of damage, which in my opinion, that's one I've been working towards for a while, and seeing this skill is here, I really like it. As for the final strike, like I said earlier in the video as well, final strike can be good skill if you can get it to level 8 and then switch to final strike, because the percentage in my opinion is very low. There are a lot of other skills available right now that dealing the same stuff that final strike does, so it can be an option if you're running, for example, a team where you use a lot of passive skills, and then you use maybe tanky skill, and then you get extra damage from here. That could be something that you can try on. I think that would work, but in my opinion, in attack expertise, I think top battle and breakout are the two best one, but I will give an edge on the top battle over breakout. Now let's take a look at the mage. The 3 mage skills here, Dark Energy, Soul Burst, and Dark Flame. I like them all. I like them differently because it works, all of them will work so very well together, or not together, but for each immortal, depending how you want to build up your mage. I think some of them is very good. Also, some of them also depending on the crit attributes you get on the artifact they have. For example, the Dark Energy, let's take a look in the game. For example, the Dark Energy, I think would definitely fit better for the likes of people with good crit rate artifact. I think that should be very good here. If you have like with an annihilation as well on the artifact, the first one, Dark Energy, would fit perfectly in there. But if you are the one like me, where my Himiko have deadly and magical attack bonus rate percentage, I think the Soul Burst will be way better, because of the extra crit rate with 25%, and then you also increase magical damage. Basically a good passive it means that you can be more flexible with your builds as well, and your Himiko gonna do more crit, and you don't have to worry too much about your artifact trying to get crit rate. Although I do recommend crit rate on the mage artifacts, so this can be adding up into the stack. So yeah, that's pretty good for me. And Dark Flame, I think this one as well as the other ones will be good after level 5. 5 to 8, I think that skill will be very good, very usable. If you have crit rate on your artifact, this skill can be very strong because it's going to be like very similar to Annihilations, very similar to Storm Eye. And I think if you run with Spell Stance, Demonic Contract, and for example, you can run another skill to maybe Abundant Spirit or Psionic Tide, this skill can pop off very, very well. So why would I choose Soul Burst first? Especially the pre-level 5, like level 1 to 4, I think Soul Burst is the best one in my opinion. Some people might disagree, but I rate it because of the artifact. If you have magical attack percentage, pre-level 4 or level 5 here, I think that's better. You get more out of the expertise specializations than the other skills. Dark energy, I would recommend taking this when you get or when you have critical rate percentage as your main attributes for your artifact. And of course, Annihilation would be good. I think that would be perfect for this skill. This skill is very similar to what we see of Corrosive Power without the energy region. So, if you have Corrosive Power, you can stack it up with this skill as well. So your ultimate will be doing huge damage. And let's take a look at the conclusion right here. So while I've been testing the Himiko, I have seen a lot of stuff that I really like. I've seen some reports that people have been posting, and I really like the Mage Expertise because they're all very good in their own way. The first one being very good if you have your artifact crit rate attribute, and the second one, Soul Burst, can fit all the mages. It will benefit all the mages from the get-go, which in my opinion is a huge W. And the Dark Flame will be good after level 5 and above, like I mentioned earlier in this video. I know I said this before, but I just want to repeat it because the conclusion of this mage is all of the skills are very good. I think they are very situational depending on your artifact, and some of them may be on your immortal. Like for example, I think Empress Wu might have better off taking the dark energy because her crit is already high, but the likes of Merlin, which have low crit stats, like base stats, might be taking the Soul Burst. And then you have Himiko, high crit stats, but also depending on your artifact. If you have crit rate, definitely go for dark energy. But if you want to use like a supportive mage position, like a Earth Himiko, where Himiko is the like a support damage dealer, or the second damage dealer behind Alex, I think Dark Flame will be good because now you're running all your Himiko with the like aura, energy shield, and purifications. Basically no damage skill, so this skill would definitely help out for that team. Now let's take a look at the archers. I can see the skills are very similar to the mages, and the stats very similar. It's just that it's the archers, basically a copy and paste, and I'm probably gonna repeat myself from what I said in the mage. Although I just want to add something to it. Let's go in game and take a look. So if you look here, it's very similar to Rose to Power, and I think the skill would be good, but for archers, I think the Gale Force is going to be the main one because the difference between the mage artifact and the archer's artifact is that archer's artifact, the main attribute cannot or don't have any crit rate on it. So if they really need the crit rate for the archers to pop off, and I think the Gale Force will be the most popular, and this third one will also be pretty good as well. But like I said in the previous, expertise as well, that pre-level 4 I think is not worth it, but after level 5, 6, 7, 8, I think that's when the skill number 3 almost in every expertise is the best one, the best outcome if you want to use this. I think this one is nice, especially if you're gonna use in like archers as utilizers. For example, in the lightning with Kana Hammurabi, most of the time your Hammurabi gonna be the main damage dealer with the mage, being a mage, and then your Khan gonna be kind of like a damage utilizer. Then you're probably gonna put a lot of other skills like the aura skills, maybe assist, and maybe fighting master on Khan, for example. Then this specific skill will be very good on him because then you don't really need anything else. You already have like a skill to it, so basically you're becoming like a support archers with a damage as well. But mainly I think a lot of people will go for the Gale Force because of the extra crit, extra damage. I think a lot Khan with this skill will be very good. Sendok with this skill will be very good as well because now you're gonna crit a lot, and the crit damage hurts a lot. And I think a lot of people, most people, will probably go for Gale Force. I would definitely do it, and it seems to me to be the best one. The first one, like I said with the mage, the difference between this one and the mage one is that the artifact of the immortals is different. I would probably rank this one last among the archers, and we rank number two here, number 1, and then the skill here number 2 because of the potential outcome in like later stages as well. And from the get-go, I think Gale Force is the best one, at least until level 5 or 6. Then we might see some really good damage from Swift Arrow when it goes to over 200%. I think that will be the case for this skill. So let's take a look at the conclusion I have here. So Voidbreaker is good if your March have high crit like Fire Team. I think this skill will be good on Sendok, particularly because of the high crit rate from the March. Other than that, I think the skill will be decent, will do good damage, but it's not gonna be like game-breaking damage. Gale Force is the best archer expertise, extra crit rate, plus with artifact annihilation passive, it will be exceptional. The damage is gonna be really nice. I think a lot of people will, people didn't know what to decide which passive they wanted on their artifact. But I think with this specifically or specific skill or specialization, Gale Force will, you know, make people try to get the crit passive or the artifact even more because the damage is gonna be insane. Swift Arrow can also be a good option, but I don't think it will be used a lot, especially in the beginning. Maybe at the later stage when it comes to like 6, 7, 8, or when you want to have like an let's say support damage with archers like Khan in Lightning, like Elizabeth in Shadow for Himiko. That could be something, but in my opinion, other than that, I don't think we should be looking into that much. And lastly, let's take a look at support. Support, I just finished my full phase, so I've been looking into this for a lot. Now let's take a look at support. I've been looking into support a lot lately because I just finished my full phase. I try to decide which one is the best. And for me, I went with the second one, but let's take a look like one by one. The first one here is Untarnished. Increase your healing effect by 9% and reduce damage taken by 6%. Realistically, this one is really good. I would definitely run it if I do have double healer behind. One of them should run this, or both of them should run this. And also this can be good if you have like one support and in the Earth, Himiko, Theodora scenario, this one will be usable. I like this one as well, and this can be played around during the beginning phase as well. But for me, the second one, Divine Blessing, is the one to go to because I'm running the double tank. I'm running Wise, Ethan Shin, Charles, Himiko, and Wu-Fei together, and this one fits perfectly in my category of March because after the battle starts, restores 60 energy to another back row ally and increases their damage by 16%. And for me, that's perfect for a double tank comp. It do also work for a lot of other comps, but for me, like for example, Fire Mage, that would work very well for your like Cyrus when he wants to support either Sendok or Empress Wu. Works really well there as well. And the last one, Redemption, every 9 seconds there's 70% chance to restore HP rate of 90. Let's go take a look in game how it looks like. Sorry, this was the wrong one. Let's take a look at support, see if we find one right here. And the rating, in my opinion, like I said earlier, and I'm gonna repeat myself again and again, level 5, I don't think that is worth going for, but when it becomes level 6, 7 or 8, I think that is where I think a lot of the healing will come, and I think that would be very OP, to be honest. Especially in the healing matches and sustainable matches, this will be very OP, but in the later stage. However, in the beginning of the stage here, the first 4 levels, I think that's very mid. I don't think you're really gonna see any difference, to be honest. So if I were to rank them, like let's say early levels, I would go Divine Blessing, Untarnished, and Redemption. But at late game, at late levels from the 5 and above, I would probably rank Redemption as number 1, and Divine Blessings as number 2, and Untarnished as number 3. The reason why I want to rank this as number 1 because 240% at every 9 seconds, and you stack that upon, let's say, Theodora, let's say Buffet, and Ninetales, I think that's going to be very, very nice, and also Zenobia. But if you have other immortals like, Cyrus, have King Emperor, and let's say Pomiris, I think Divine Blessing is the one to go for. But here is another comp that you could try to do is when you have let's say double healer behind. I think the first one, Tarnished, is the best one. And maybe you can do like, Untarnished and Redemption together. But imagine if, because I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna stack with each other. If they do for a double support, like if both supports is using this skill and both are healers, I'm not 100% sure. What I'm assuming it does, that we're gonna stack the damage taken decrease, so we're gonna get like 30% damage decrease from the backline and like the whole team. Then I think this will be very, very OP. And yeah, I think it really depends on the comp. I might, rethink like maybe this one is not bad after all. It should be number 2 or number 1. It really depends on your comp. But yeah, it's definitely gonna work. So let's take a look at the conclusion. What I had here is that Untarnished works best in a double healer and double support match. Yes, I think that was gonna be really, really good. The stack damage, if possible to stack, gonna be 30% damage, like taking less damage, which is gonna be very OP. And I think that is something that people can work around. As for the Divine Blessing, is ideal for double tank and one damage backliner, which is double tank with Himiko backliner or Loki or Genghis Khan. Doesn't really matter. It's gonna work really, really well in this comp, and this is perfect situation for me as well, as I just finished my Buffet and I'm gonna use this skill for Buffet and help Himiko out. As for Redemption, can be very good, but after level 5 and above, because that is when the healing becomes visible. Although, keep in mind, the first skill, and the third skill might be able to be countered by Flavius. If it does, then we're gonna see a little bit problem here. But I don't know yet. It might be able to. When we get there, we will test it again. I will make another more in-depth each, 3 once I get them to level 8. Because right now, a lot of the things is tested based on level 1. You are not going to see a lot of different stuff. So yeah, that's it about this conclusion for support. I think I personally would prefer the Divine Blessing right now currently, but in the future that might change. Now we are at the end of this video, so let's make some conclusion. Here I picked out 6 specializations that I think are the best. The first one is Iron Will from the tank. I think they are the best skill or specialization that you have in the tank, especially in the early levels. Also will be good at the end, but we don't know that yet. Some of the other skills might, catch up to Iron Will, but at this moment, I doubt so. As for attack, I put up Top Battle and Breakout. I think these 2 are very good in their own way. Most people will probably use Top Battle because of the attack speed and the damage, while for some marches, Breakout going to be really, really strong as well. I think they are very strong in their own way, and I think they both, deserve a mention. As for Soul Burst, for Mage, I think that's going to be very good skill for beginning, like the early levels. No matter if you have crit rate on your artifact, for Mage artifact, it's going to be very good for the Mage. any mage can use this, and it's gonna do very well from the start. You're gonna see the difference right away, especially if you don't have the crit rate on your main attributes in your artifact for your mage. So I would definitely go for this, and I really recommend this one. Also for archers, Gale Force, I think same thing with the mage artifact or mage specialization. Gale Force, I think will be very, very OP for archers to carry the march. Like, for example, in Khan, it's got buffed recently, like a couple months ago, and with this skill alongside with some of the other skills like Time to Shine, I think your Khan with Annihilation passive on your crit, or sorry, on your artifact will do huge damage, and I really recommend this, and this is by far the best one, especially from the early levels and to the late levels. However, the last skill on the archers, the skill that proc some damage, that will catch up slowly by the levels. I think by the level 6, 7, and 8, if you want to try out something else, I think that would be a skill or specialization to look at. As for Divine Blessing, in my opinion, is very, very strong early, especially in a double tank comp. And I think that would be very, very good for your main carry to have this skill on your support. And it doesn't matter if your main carry is Alex or Himiko. If you're running like a Earth comp with Alex and Himiko, I think this one's gonna help Himiko a lot. So Himiko can help Alex. So it goes. You can use it like that, but most people will probably use it like when Himiko is the carry. This skill would be very, very nice. Also, the other skills, shout out to them as well. The first one is very good in the support, like I showed you guys, like explained earlier in this video. Very good in double support, and the last one will be good healing at level 6 and above. I think 5 and above, I would say 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be very, very good, and I recommend you guys to look into that when you get it. But for now, the best specialization are these one, in my opinion, especially 3 level 4. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I do hope that you guys, enjoyed the video, enjoyed my explanation, understand where I come from with my ideas, with my viewpoint. You might have different view. If you do, please leave it a comment. So I would like to hear that from you guys to see what kind of like ideas you have from reading the skill set. What kind of skills did you pick? That would be very interesting to have like a look on different viewpoints from other people, because I've been testing various stuff, but after like I've been only testing the tank and the attack the most. I've been looking into the mages, archers, and support a lot too, but I haven't really test them into the detail enough to make. I'm just basing this off the basically the text and the skills of the immortals that I know from, that I learned from, and hopefully this video gonna help you guys understand the immortal expertise even more, and hopefully you guys gonna pick the right one, and also you guys gonna be happy with the one you pick. And yeah, I would wrap up the video right there. Thanks you guys for watching. I know it might be a lot of theory, a lot of reading, listening, but anyway, thanks you guys for watching. Have a good one. See you guys in the next video.